Rangers announced today an extension for their star goaltender, so that locks Henrik Lundqvist up for the next 7 years, and he joins us now. Henrik, Mike Francesa on the Fan Yes Network. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How does this? Are you glad to have this behind you now?
It feels really good to have it in place, and obviously it's been a few months here where it's been back in my mind, but we knew going into this, it is a process. It's a really important contract to me. It's my most important contract of my career. It's a important contract for the Rangers, so we wanted everything to be good for both sides. So, but it feels great, to get this opportunity to play for one team, my entire career, organization that I care so much for, and I'm just super excited about it.
I know you couldn't see yourself playing for somebody else, could you?
No. I sat down, I think it was during last season, and we went over different options, and that was the first time I started to think about my future and, what I would like to do. And it was super clear for me, what I wanted to do. And, two things really stood out, and one was I really want to win the Cup in New York, and two, I want to be a Ranger for life. That was the two things that mattered the most to me, and I told my agent there's no options here. I want to stay in New York, make it happen.
The city aside, the team and the franchise, what is it about the franchise that makes you want to stay here? I mean, forget the city and forget, being in New York, which I think is a great draw, obviously. Everyone does. But how about the franchise itself and the future of this franchise, the direction and everything else? You like everything you feel about where this franchise is headed?
Well, first of all, as a player, to come into New York, you talk to, obviously, guys that played for other teams, and they come in and they're like, wow, they really treat you well as a player. And it starts from the top, from Mr. Dolan to Mrs. Sater, the support you get there and how they treat you. And that's a great feeling for a player. And then when it comes down to, the on-ice stuff, I think we have a really skilled team, and we shown it a few games here and there so far this year. We just need to work on our consistency, starting with me. So I think it's right there for us, and we played some top teams where we did some really good things and got the result, and that shows also that we're right there. We just need to fix a few things, and we'll get going.
How frustrating was last season?
Well, last season it was a little different, obviously, with a half season and in 48 games. Our start was a little tough, but we recovered. I thought the second half was really strong. Playoffs, we played really well against Washington, Boston. I mean, I said it back then. You have to give it to Boston. They played really well. Maybe we could have pushed them a little harder, but they were on a roll, no question, and they made it really tough for us there.
Talking with Henrik Lundqvist, as the Rangers star goalie has basically signed for the rest of his career here. He's going to obviously be here for the next 7 years, signs a lucrative contract to remain with the Rangers. The coaching change, has it affected you at all? And if it has, what's your thoughts about your new coach?
First of all, the new coaching staff, they're doing a great job. They've been very patient. We had a bumpy start out west, but they knew that this is a process to get every piece in place, and they've been very supportive. So that's great. For me personally, I think I work so much with the goalie coach, Benoit Allaire, and that's my go-to guy every day. So the game for me hasn't changed that much if you compare it to the players, where it's a little different system, especially playing in our own end. But for me, the approach and how I need to play my game has not changed.
How about the schedule with what's going on? There was even the thought the last couple of days that you weren't happy not playing the back-to-back games. I mean, do you sit down with the coaching staff and map out your schedule? Do you have a lot of input, or do they basically give it to you, or do you have as much input as you'd like into your schedule?
No, I leave that all up to the coaches. it's their decision. They run the team, and whatever they tell you to do, you do it.
Right, but I mean, are you comfortable with this? I mean, is it a schedule that you feel comfortable with? I mean, would you like to have some say into that schedule? How do you feel about that?
I think the plan we had a couple of years ago worked out really well. I play a little less. We were target on around 60, 65 games, so you feel really fresh going into the playoffs, and I think that's something we're looking at right now as well. But every time you get a question, are you happy sitting on the bench? Of course, you got to get a no. You want to play. But it doesn't mean you stand behind the decision. And Cam's been playing really well, but it's up to me to push myself to reach a level where I need to be to help this team to win. And you just have to look at it the right way. I don't expect to start every night. I don't take it for granted. I have to work for it and earn it.
But I mean, you want some rest, right? So there's a level of games where you want to say, hey, I want to play not more than this, like you say, maybe 60 games or something like that might be optimum. Is there so many games in a row that is pretty much pushing it, or is it basically how things are going?
For the first five years or so, I was playing around 70 games, 72, and I had stretches where I played 15 to 20 straight games. So you get into a nice flow and rhythm where you don't think too much, and you might be a little more relaxed. But in the end, of course, that's going to take a little toll on you if you play every night. And the plan is not to have a great regular season. The plan is to have a great playoff and go for it there. I think that's the ultimate goal. But obviously, to get there, you need to perform during the season as well. But long term, it's better if you sit out once in a while to recover, but also get an opportunity to push yourself a little more in practice.